What's going on, guys? Linus here, and welcome to this video. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm going to talk about what I think about the Elder Scrolls Online beta that I participated in this weekend. Just do keep in mind, it's only a beta. I'm not sure how much has already changed and how old this beta was, because I believe it was already, it was mostly used as a stress test to see what the servers could handle. But I played for about 4 hours. I've recorded everything I did in the game. So I have almost 1 terabyte of footage, and I figured I would throw together a quick montage of some of that stuff and sort of talk about my findings. I don't have any type of script that I'm going to talk about, so this will be sort of a casual video. I have no idea how long this will be, but here we go. So in case you haven't seen the videos, I played, like I said, for about 4 hours. I played as a Wood Elf Nightblade with a bow mostly, and I think that was kind of a mistake for me because I did not enjoy playing with a bow, but I'll get into that later. But that's the character I played. I made a video with my character creation. I made my character pretty much as ugly as you can make one, which was fun because he was hideous. He was super short, as short as you can make him, really fat. He had antlers. I don't really know why that is a thing. I don't think that was ever in Skyrim or Oblivion or Morrowind that I remember. But I was not very impressed with the character creation. It's not as detailed as it was in Oblivion and Skyrim, where you could basically make a character as ugly or as awesome as you would like to. But it's basically, I think it's sort of the new standard for MMOs. When you look at games, I'm pretty sure, let's see, I think Guild Wars 2 did it as well, where you have all those sliders, where you can adjust everything, and obviously, games like WoW are just horribly outdated with their character creation, where you only get to pick a face, and you get to pick eyes and hairstyle, stuff like that. That's pretty much it. Or if you play as a troll, you get to adjust his tusks, or whatever those are called. It's not very detailed, but it gets the job done, and this is pretty much the least that you could have expected from a new MMO. In my opinion. So if you really care about character creation, then it sort of depends on how critical you are. You might like it, you might hate it. Just check out the video I uploaded earlier, because I'll put that in the description, and I might just forget to do that, so just check out my channel and find it. I only uploaded it a couple of days ago, so you should be able to figure that one out. So the most impressive things for me, the biggest pros about the game, were the graphics, for sure. It looks a lot like Skyrim, okay? They have pretty much the exact same style. Some of the graphics look just as good as Skyrim, but a lot of textures do not look the same they do in Skyrim. And that's kind of I don't know, I didn't really like that. It's very much like Skyrim in the way it looks, the way it plays, and everything. But in Skyrim, the world wasn't as empty. I mean, obviously, Skyrim had ridiculously small towns, where the capital city of the entire country, pretty much, is that a country? I think so. There were like, what, 10, 20 houses there? It was super small. There were some people walking around in there, and it was, I don't know, it was not that great, but if you went into the wilderness, there was pretty much always something to find. There was a chest, or there were monsters, or a little side quest, or whatever. There was pretty much always something to do in Skyrim, and with this, I don't know, I felt like it was very empty. There were like 1 or 2 enemies, or there's some mud crabs walking around. You know, in Skyrim, you could collect pretty much everything you saw. You could pick up anything that was on the ground. You could pick up most plants, animals, stuff like that. There was a certain level of interaction with everything, and I didn't really feel that from this game. There were chests around, but most of them were already being looted, or were already looted by other players, especially in the first mission, or the first quest, whatever, that I ran into, where you have to escape from prison in the very first video. There were, like, just dozens of crates just lying around, and I thought it'd be cool to check them out, but every single one of them was empty, because they're all shared with other players. So I didn't really like that, but I don't know, it seems like this game wants to be like Skyrim a lot, but online, and it just doesn't feel the same with the world. It doesn't really work like that for an MMO, in my opinion. Okay, that's probably should have said this at the start of the video, but everything here is just my opinion. If you disagree, feel free to let me know why and all that stuff, but What I'm saying is not just facts. I didn't read up on the game. I just played for about 4 or 5 hours, and that's all of my experience. So talking about the first mission like I just did, I had kind of a problem with that because in MMOs, usually the player is all drawn in, so to speak, where you get some type of incentive to keep playing. You see all these cool skills or things, and you're like, hey, I want to reach that. And for example, in WoW, I'm pretty sure that you reach level 10 in only a couple of hours, and here I played for 4 hours, and I was only level 5 or 6. It took very long to get any kind of levels, and also I didn't get to see my experience after killing enemies. I also didn't really like that for an MMO, because it's really helpful to see what kind of enemies give you what type of experience, so you know that if you're grinding somewhere, it helps if you're fighting the right enemies. Obviously, you don't want to be fighting mudcreps that give you 5 experience if you could be fighting bandits that give you 120 or whatever. So I kind of missed that. I did look for an option to enable experience notifications or something like that, but I couldn't find it. There was no experience bar that was just enabled. You actually had to open your character menu and check out the experience bar, and that worked fine for games like Skyrim, but in an MMO, it's very different, and you know, you're fighting so many enemies, you're fighting whatever you can pretty much. It helps to see what that actually gets you. So that's one thing I didn't really like. But like I said, the graphics are great for an MMO. I've played a lot of MMOs, and I think this one is by far one of the prettiest I've ever seen. Just the landscape looks amazing, the water looks great. Just everything pretty much, except for a few textures here and there that look a bit weird and flat. It looks pretty great. You know, for an MMO, I think that they did an outstanding job with the graphics. Also, the soundtrack is really good. Usually in an MMO, I don't listen to the soundtrack, or it might even annoy me. But in this, it was just on par with the Elder Scrolls games. Just in general, the game had a very cool Elder Scrolls vibe to it, obviously, because it is an Elder Scrolls game, derp. But it's just all the sort of the stories and the things you could find, the enemies, the races you could play as. It had a very big Elder Scrolls vibe to it. The only thing I didn't really like is the fact that you were forced at the start to pick a class with very little information as to what that class was like. Which isn't bad per se, but seeing as it took me 5 hours to get to level 6, and after those 5 hours I figured, you know what, I shouldn't have gone with the Nightblade, but I'm not going to play another 5 hours to get another character like a warrior up to a higher level. That just takes way too long, and it doesn't really fit in with the Elder Scrolls, where you pick maybe some skills, but you're not stuck to anything, especially in Skyrim. You didn't have to pick major skills like you did in Morrowind and Oblivion. At least I'm pretty sure Morrowind did the same thing. So you're not stuck to anything. You can do anything you want. The only thing you pick is a race, and you're done. And I feel like that would have worked better for this game as well, where you just get way more freedom on what to do. Obviously, you can still play as, for example, a mage, and then start wearing heavy armor and use maces or whatever. I don't know, I don't think it would have worked a lot better for this game, and just for Elder Scrolls games in general, to give you that freedom to just pick a race and just go from there. Just play with whatever you want to play with and experiment and find out what you like, and just use that for the rest of the game. The quests I really liked, personally. They all had a short little story to them that was pretty interesting in my opinion. I thought it was pretty fun. Like, for example, in one of the earlier parts, I found a plantation of, I believe, moon sugar, and obviously moon sugar, I believe, is made in the Elder Scrolls universe to make skooma. So I knew that skooma would at one point make an appearance in the game, and it totally did, because one of the people on the farm was a dirty skooma addict that just ate skooma all day long. How do you even use skooma? I have no idea. Do you just, like, snort it? Do you smoke it? Do you inhale it? I have no clue, but that's not really the point. But it made an appearance, and it actually did give you some choices. For example, I found the skooma that I was supposed to find, which was evidence, and I could either give it to one dude who was going to destroy it, or I could give it to law enforcement who would then arrest that person. I'm not sure how much of a difference it really makes, because I only got to do the quest once, but it could have been that if you picked law enforcement, which I didn't do, I decided to just give it to the guy who gave me the quest because he was nice and not a dick. it could be that you get a different quest reward. And that was kind of annoying to me, that you couldn't see what kind of reward you would get for a quest in advance. And I said this in the videos, but usually in MMOs, a quest giver's like, hey, I want you to do this for me, and if you do it, I'm going to give you this sword, or this shield, or this bow, or this piece of armor, or whatever. And in this game, they don't do that, so sometimes you just spend 30 minutes on a quest, and all you get is a stupid shield, which you're not even going to use. So that bothered me, that that was not in the game. It kind of seems like they just went for Skyrim Online and sort of forgot some MMO RPG aspects that should have been in the game, like that. There were some minor bugs also. I ran into a bug with a quest. I ended up editing it out of my video because I was looking for something for 10 minutes before I found out it wasn't even in the game. I started the quest and it says, follow the trail to this and that. So I start looking out for a trail, but there is no trail. So I just walk around for 10 minutes before I asked in the chat, you know, where's this trail I'm looking for? And it turned out it was bugged. So I'm pretty sure they're going to fix that in full game. But in the beta, it kind of bothered me. But I have a feeling that usually in MMOs, that shit gets patched out. You know, it's totally fine. I probably shouldn't even have brought it up. But some small bugs like that. So really, the only things I didn't like is the empty world. And the combat with a bow was very frustrating, where it was sort of clunky and unresponsive. The same with the sneaking, where sometimes I would press sneak and immediately be sneaking. Sometimes I press it and it would take several seconds before I started sneaking. But I would have already pressed it a second time, so he would have immediately stopped sneaking. Which is just very annoying and bothersome and just not fun if it works like that. So I did run into some lag issues, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be fixed, seeing as this is still, it was a stress test. There were lots of people online, and I have a feeling that, you know, they're going to fix it up, and after the game releases, I think a lot of those issues will be resolved, so I'll be looking forward to that. Let's see what else. I had talked about graphics, music, gameplay, quests. I don't think there's really much else. So for recommendations, because people keep asking me, should I buy this game, should I not buy it? Keep in mind, I've only played this beta for about 5 hours, and so my opinion on it really isn't worth that much. But for me personally, I enjoy MMORPGs, but usually only for a very short amount of time before I lose interest. I don't think that I'm personally going to buy it. I might still do it, but I'm not sure about that yet. If you are a big fan of MMOs and the Elder Scrolls, then I think you're going to love it. It has everything that the Elder Scrolls has, pretty much. It's got the same style and all that. And obviously the same graphics as Skyrim. And it's just, it really reminded me of an Elder Scrolls game. It really had that vibe going for it. So if you enjoy the Elder Scrolls and if you enjoy MMOs, I'd say go for it. If you do not enjoy MMOs, I'm sorry, but I just don't think that this is going to be for you. It's not very different from other MMOs where you just go on quests to level up, and eventually you probably engage in PvP with other players, you start doing dungeons, and just try to collect the best loot there is. So, if you hate MMORPGs but love Skyrim, I think that this will not really be your cup of tea. I've seen lots of comments from people saying this is very bland, I love the Elder Scrolls, but this is just not good, I don't like MMOs. So I don't think you're going to like it that much. And if you love MMOs and don't really know the Elder Scrolls, it might be worth checking out. I have a feeling that there will be trials for this game, at least there should be. So you can check it out maybe for a little while. Because I believe it is 60 euros and then 12 euros a month, or 13, something like that. It's a lot of money to ask for a game. So I don't know, maybe look up some more videos, try participating in another beta, or getting a trial when the game is actually released. And just, you know, maybe watch some videos and try to get a feel for it and see whether or not you would enjoy playing that yourself, because I'm not sure whether or not you would. That's very subjective. But me personally, I was impressed, but I was also not very impressed. I don't know, just mixed feelings altogether. So I'm not really sure what to say else. It's completely up to yourself. Look up some more gameplay, check out some more stuff about the game, and see if you would like it. But I personally don't think I'm gonna buy it quite yet. I don't know, it was fun playing it for a couple of hours, but that for 60 euros plus 13 euros a month, I don't know, I can't really do that. I mean, it's coming out in April, I believe April 4th. But, you know, there's going to be lots of great games in March anyway that are less expensive, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to play those instead. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have any more questions about the Elder Scrolls Online, let me know. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.